Hey guys, and welcome. My name's Trav Lang. Welcome to the Learner's Lounge. It's going to be hopefully a complete guide for you to learn what you need to do and the processes you need to be involved in to learn how to tint windows. So a little bit about me. Been tinting for 25 years, no, probably 27 years. So I've got a little bit of experience and be able to help educate and guide you on the world of tint. The tips and tricks, I went over and had the privilege to compete over in the States, the Expo window tint competition, and managed to win that. So I was very grateful for that opportunity. So I want to teach you the tips and tricks that I used to win that competition. So to get things started, I've got some different scenarios on basically the way to roll with how you want to tint your windows. Let's get started over here first. So this is basically, without branding anything, a standard pouch. You can put your tools in here. You wear it like a belt. I don't like it because when you try and sit on a stool like now and you're tinting a door, you lean over, you drop something, shit just digs in, doesn't work. Works for a lot of people, not bagging it, just doesn't work for me. The next thing I found was it's very clever, it's tough built, and what it is it's a side pouch. So this particular side pouch, you click that and it releases. So you attach this part here to your belt, and then the side part clips in, so it's like a quick release. Very handy. It's kind of like a one-sided thing. Again, it didn't work for me. I've kind of done things a long way, a certain way, but I'm always up for trying different things out. The next thing, which is very, very handy and useful, is your tray. So your tray generally consists of all my wet stuff on one side, your squeegees, your knives, your sponges. This amazing tool from Fusion. I don't mind a hand job every once in a while. Then you've got your dry tools. So you've got your door clip removers, your trim tools, your hook tools, shrinking cards, etc., etc. So that all goes in there. The next thing is the bag. I've used the bag for a long time lately, and I've used this for a long time in the past. I don't know what works better. It really depends on your frame of mind. So try it out. The bag is great for on-site stuff. This isn't bad either, but you can just sort of pick up your bag and go. That's what I like about it. You know, you got your pliers, you got your little screwdrivers, door trim tools, you know, side swipers, the whole bit. Then you've got your bucket. So I started with the bucket. Your bucket is basically everything that's wet from here goes into here. And it keeps everything clean. So that's what I like about it. Okay, so I'm going to go through this bag, how I've got it set out for me. In this side here, I've got textures here, which I use to draw on the film, so I'm not cutting on the film, so I'm not cutting on the glass. So I've got a couple of pens and textures here. Small Phillips head there. Got my little pokey pry tools that I use occasionally. In here is the Platinum Easy Reach, which I like. Shrinking card slots into there. Got my scraper here. Little corner cards, which I use here. Little hook to hang the door trims on, which is very handy. This is my outside squeegee. I don't use, like when I'm cleaning the outside of the glass, I don't use the squeegee that I clean and prep the glass with. It's a bit of a homemade tool. the old school, the window winders. You use that to release this little circlip, that's handy. Flat blade screwdriver, attachments to the drill, and get yourself one of these, because it saved my ass so many times, is a magnet. Just a basic little magnet. Spinning it around. This side I've got another texture, because you can never have enough. Got my trimming knife, which I trim the top edge with, and I've also got my red dot, which I cut film out with. Side swiper, very handy. Conqueror. I'll explain what all these tools do, but they're just basically, that's what I like about the bag, is everything has a place. Door trim tools, extra knives. Around here I have my, in here I've got my attachments, so like my T25s, T20s, T15s, little 7mm spanner. This one here, the attachment for the drill again, just your sockets. Spare shrinking card, glove to shrink with, which I'll go through at a later date. This is like, kind of like a vinyl cleaner. I'll explain what I do with that later. In here, I've got my spear card sharpener, so just to make it nice and sharp and flat again. That's about it for there. Around here, got my torch, which is necessary at times. In here, I've got my little fusion tools, just for quarter windows, that sort of thing. This one here holds my steel wool with the scissors and scraper blades, and always keep my knife blade separate so that I don't cut myself open. So that's basically it for the sides. For the top, I'll change to GoPro mode now. So in the top, I've got my pliers, plug tool, hook tool, window cleaner, drill lives here, wind up tape, pad for prepping a rear screen. In here, I've got my inside squeegee, go the Toro, it's such a good brand. My Blue Max, my hard press. Over here, sorted spanners, shifters, spare T20s, T-sets, and my 2 bottles. And that's pretty much it, but you can sort of see how much the bag holds and how useful it is. It's yeah, it's very sort of very comprehensive compared to just having a tray. So I'll move over to the tray. This is basically the tray, how I would use it. So like I was explaining, you have your squeegees, your wet stuff on one side, with your spear cards, your Conqueror, your hand job, hard press sponges. Over this side, you just basic tools, you just stuff you're going to keep dry, just your screwdrivers, your shrinking card. But with this sort of set, you can zoom around the car and tint the windows, but you obviously need, you know, drills and all that sort of stuff, which the bag will hold. So these are kind of my 2 main go-to things. So what I usually do is, with the bucket, if you want to have a tool set that you just sort of cruise around and keep your tools clean all the time, then that's the beauty of the bucket. So everything wet just goes in here, like so. So keep all that there. Then you're going to free up your tray. You can load it up with more tools. The bucket's good for winter because you can put warm water in it, keeps your hands warm, don't freeze up. And you can do the same with the bag too, you know, just keep your bag, keep all your tools in the bag, rip out your squeegees, rip out your, you know, your cards, all that sort of stuff that you're going to reach into a lot, and just use a bucket. So look, try it out. There's no right or wrong, like I said. It's just a matter of giving you guys ideas of different ways to go about it, having different options, and working out the best way that suits you. All right, well, here we are back again with all the tools that I have, most of the tools I have in my bag, the ones that I use mainly. So I might just start down here for you guys. You've got your hook tool here to remove rub rails or gaskets or that sort of thing from door trims. You've got your plug tool here that we use for removing plugs out of door trims when they get stuck in there. You've just got your standard spanners, your sockets. In here, I like to keep all my sockets in a little tin to just basically keeps everything organised. Shifter, screwdriver. These are what we call spear cards. I have different spear cards for different things. They have different textures and densities. Some scratch, some don't. These are quite soft. The blue ones are a little bit harder. These tri-edge squeegees are pretty good. This one here I used for a little while. It just sort of tend to be a bit thick for some things that I used. But nevertheless, you sand them down, make sure that they're nice and smooth so that they don't scratch. Everything has a potential to scratch at some stage. This is what we call a chiseler. Chiseler, just in case you get a little dot here and there, while the film's wet, you do have the opportunity to remove the air around the little dot. The air makes the dot look white from the outside. So you just rub it down with a little chiseler and it just sort of seems to disappear. Well, the dot's still there, but the air goes away. You will need some scraper blades just for cleaning the glass. There's two types of blades. There are stainless, like these. Stainless generally will not scratch the glass more so than carbon blades, but I find stainless break a lot. You'll snap them cleaning stuff, unless I'm just a bit too heavy-handed. You got your fusion. I call this grabby green for tint because it grabs. The pink's quite good. Just little cargo windows, quarter windows, that sort of thing. Your black smoothie. I love this thing. It works really well. I use this a lot. This is a 3M brown card. I used to use them all the time. I don't really use them anymore because they do scratch up more so than the coloured stuff that you can get these days. It's a little bit primitive as far as I'm concerned. This I use as a pad, which I'll go into at a later date. The soap method, when we start heat shrinking, I use a pad and I prep the rear screen with that. These are long reach tools. So this one here is called a side swiper. Mainly use this for squeegeeing and clean the bottom of a rear screen and also squeegeeing the water out of a rear screen. Same with the Conqueror. The Conqueror is quite good for channels of doors and also the very bottom of the back window where the parcel shelf is, if it's very tight. So that's good for that. Same thing with the Platinum. I love the Platinum. You'll see me use the Platinum a lot. Platinum I use for squeegeeing door channels, rear screens, all sorts of stuff. Just got to keep it well sanded and just look after it, and it will look after you. This is a little hook that I use for when I remove a door trim. I hang the door trim off that so it doesn't hang down and you haven't got cables pulling and all that sort of thing. That's very handy. Your texter, just to mark things out, obviously. Door trim removing tools. Get a wedge. Wedges are good. You got your thin application tools. all these things. These are a King Chrome set. Get them from various hardware stores. Needed in every toolkit. Heat shrinking card. These are awesome. I make my own. They just use them for multi-purposes, which again I'll go through with the program. Sorry about that. My heat shrinking glove, outside squeegee, Blue Max, which is basically what we use as what we call a hard press. Some installers will use just a Blue Max to squeegee the glass clean. Each to their own. It doesn't work for me. I like the look and feel of a squeegee, which this one I think I've had for about 25 years and still going strong. If you're going to get a good squeegee that's going to last you forever, get a brass one. I don't know. They just feel better. They become part of you. This one here. These are my torque bits. Like I showed you before, just with the little 7mm spanner, bits and pieces. If you care to have everything neat and tidy, then you'll know where everything is. Your scraper, red dot knife. Red dots are good because you can just put out a 15th of a blade for when you want to cut the film between hard up in a rubber or something like that. The edge of the knife helps guide the film into the channel so that you can cut it and it just nicks it and it doesn't spray out on you. Cheap as chips, plastic knife, but love it for trimming, because if you slip, it's plastic and it doesn't score the edge of the film and have to do a remove and refit for just a small error. Extension bar for the drill, a drill, and some stop tape. So that's basically the kit that you will need to become a professional window tinter. Over and above this, you will need a heat gun, and you will need some window film, and you will need an extension lead. And maybe a few bottles, which I will grab from here. I use 2 types of bottles. One bottle just has dishwashing liquid in it, just for cleaning. Helps the squeegees glide a little bit better when you're prepping it and that sort of thing. And I also use another one with a mounting solution, which I personally use the Fusion stuff. It's good because it's got a pump bottle, so you just sort of pump it to work out whatever film that you're using, how hot it is. Just you work out your tack rate and adjust your sort of pumps from there, and it's accurate every time. That's why I like it. So there's basically your mounting solution and your slip solution. The only things that I can show you over and above this is, give me 2 seconds, the wonders of editing, are what we call a bulldozer. This paddle here is used for squeegeeing and the application of, or squeegeeing the glass clean and squeegeeing the water out once the film is on, behind brake lights or deep channels. If you've got a parcel shelf that's quite high up the glass and you don't have the time or the resources to remove it, then these are a godsend. So that's basically your bulldozer, which you would push water out with and squeegee clean. And this one here is the scrubber. It's got some double-sided sticky stuff, Velcro here. I just put some steel wool on it and then just scrub the crap out of it. Some people would freak out if they had steel wool because, what about hairs and stuff? But I'll go through how to do a clean install using steel wool as well. So that's basically the kit. That's all you really need. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back with more. If it's helpful, hit that like button. That way it will go to your like videos and you'll be able to find us a little bit easier. And hit subscribe for me so that you can view the rest of the episodes soon to follow. Thanks for watching.